Come on, man. Live from Bedford-Stuyvesant, the livest one. Representing BK to the fullest. Gats, I pull it. You ready? Let's do this.
I made it. I'm somewhat alive.
All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you this evening? Welcome to a show that we like to call The Jump Cut.
2 weeks in a row.
There we go.
Woo,
High five. There we go.
Bring it
I'm your host, Nigel Fulton. Sitting with me is
Steve. And I can't say I'm not wearing pants because you saw my pants.
Okay. This is basically a show where we talk about movies, TV, and all around geek culture. Today we will be reviewing the Fast and Furious franchise, going into the new movie Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. So basically, before we get into that, we like to get into a segment that we like to call Geek News.
Did I send you Geek News? I did, right?
No, I don't think you did.
I think I sent you a couple of things.
I'll check, but I'll start off with my stuff first, and then I'll check through.
Okay.
First off, Disney Plus announced this week that they're going to have a bundle for Hulu, Disney, and ESPN.
Yeah, for like $5.99, right?
Actually, no. Hulu is for $5.99 right now.
That's right.
But for all three of those packages, it's $12.99, which is pretty good because Netflix right now is at about $12.99, $13.99.
Remember when it was $7?
I remember when it was $7. No more.
When it was $7.
No more. Also, they announced that they're going to have straight-to-service content from their Fox properties, including Cheaper by the Dozen, Night at the Museum, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and this could be TV or movies.
Yeah.
They don't know, reboots or whatever. And last but not least, Home Alone.
Home Alone.
How do you feel about that? Them making like a new version of Home Alone.
I think I have Culkin. Was it his
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin?
Yes.
Didn't he make... No, Macaulay Culkin then.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, he made his middle name Macaulay Culkin as well. So his name is Macaulay Culkin. That's his full legal name now.
I can't. I told you I ran into him one time, right?
I think.
I never told you the story.
I don't know. Tell me the story.
So basically, I ran into him in the East Village, and I was at a comedy show, and I ran out, and somebody said, "Aren't you?" And he goes, "Shh," and then runs off. It was the weirdest thing in the world.
I feel like that's the thing he would do. That seems like...
There was definitely a thing he did.
Thank you for tuning in, Vinny and Steve.
Thank you. Next thing up, Taika Waititi has announced that he'll be making a mysterious new project with Fox Searchlight right before Thor 4. Not sure what it is yet, but it's very secret, top secret, and they felt that it should be news.
It feels weird that there's a fourth Thor movie because I keep forgetting Thor 2 exists.
He also has his movie Jojo Rabbit that's coming out on October 10th. I'm not sure exactly what his movies entail because I've never really seen a lot of them besides Thor Ragnarok, but I'm interested.
Do you want me to scroll for you so we can do Geek News?
Yeah, I found two of them.
You found two of them?
Yeah, I found two of them.
Oh, that's right. We spoke about this one.
Yep. We spoke about that one. And then the other one is that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you sent me.
Yeah, okay.
So
I wasn't sure if we were doing Geek News. That's why
it's
I was
okay.
Him.
Next up is Wesley Snipes has signed on to appear in Coming to America 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wesley Snipes is signed on. Also, Leslie Jones is in talks of signing on as well.
Oh.
Jermaine Fowler.
Jimmy Fowler?
No, Jermaine Fowler. Yeah, he's from Sorry to Bother You.
That's right.
And
movie.
Kiki Lane, which I'm not too sure who she is. But
hey, Darren, thanks for tuning in. And Steve said, to be fair, he, as referring to Macaulay Culkin, is the weirdest thing in the world. Checks out.
Oh, yeah, he is. And last but not least for that Come to America 2, James Earl Jones will be returning to the movie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Mufasa himself. Have you ever seen Coming to America?
No.
You need to watch Coming to America.
I gotta watch the...
Hey, listen, Jump Cut people. Write a list of movies that he, like, make a list of the stuff that we say, like, have you seen this? And he goes, no, I've never seen this. You need to make a list and make him watch this stuff.
I'm looking, I want to watch, because you're a big Eddie Murphy guy.
I'm a huge Eddie Murphy
So I got to watch more of that. I'm going to watch The Wire, but you also need to see Breaking Bad.
I'll watch Breaking Bad, like, if you watch The Wire. I've already said that.
Okay, so it'll be very disproportionate, but we'll do it. I'm also watching Better Call Saul, so...
Yeah, it's very disproportionate because there's more seasons of The Wire than there are. No, there's more seasons of Breaking Bad than there are The Wire.
Yeah, there's 5 seasons of Breaking Bad.
So next thing, Gemma Chang is in talks to join the cast of Eternals.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who she is. I know you
Neither
sent
did
this to me.
I sent this to you because I got a notification from Twitter.
Okay.
Because I don't go on Twitter much.
Right.
I go in there maybe once a week. So usually around the time when we're doing Geek News for the show, when we're starting to gather stuff together, I just get random notifications from Twitter that says, hey, this might interest you. Hey, look, Rob Ross dropped a single or something like that. And I'm like, I don't care. But then occasionally I get the Geek News. I'm like, I'm down for this.
Oh, wow.
So, but
I don't know who she is.
neither do I. This is like a pretty weird announcement. I don't know how I feel about it. What about you?
I feel that they announced this after Comic-Con, after they announced the whole, like, they had their cast already, and now they're announcing. I think this is fake news.
Might be. Well, this is from Twitter itself.
It's from Twitter itself, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I got some more stuff. I got some Fast and Furious news.
Really?
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez got really upset this week. Basically, there's this whole Justice for Han thing that's going on social media. I don't know if you heard about this or not.
No.
Okay, great. You know who Han the character is because you watched the. So basically, what's happening is now, and I'm not spoiling it for anyone,
From
but
the Fast films, yeah.
basically Han died in one of the Fast and Furious films. So
I'm not going to tell you which one though. So
we will tell you once we go through our movies, but basically the producer of the movie says, I love the Justice for Han. Sun Kang is a great friend, and Han is a character that I adore. I would say that the super arc for Deckard Shaw is going to be one of the most interesting, cool, rewarding character arcs in the franchise. Justice for Han is owed. It's something we have discussed for a very long time and want to give the right due to it. So basically, the problem is, and we'll get into it when we talk about Hobbs and Shaw, the backstory for that movie is that Deckard Shaw killed Han.
yeah.
So, and now they have a popular franchise, which I think it's number one in the box office last week, and I think it's probably going to be number one this week. I'm not sure.
It just came out on Thursday.
It just came, yeah. So it's already number one. So, the crazy thing about this is that they already absolved him because they already absolved him because he's the main character in this new movie.
Yeah.
So Michelle Rodriguez got mad, and she basically said, where's her thing? She says she's been around since the beginning, way before Chris Morgan came along, and he has absolutely nothing to do with this narrative or where it's going. FYI.
Did you hear? So I forgot his name. The co-star in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
He said
Tyrese.
Yes. He said that that he referred to Hobbs and Shaw. He was calling out to Dwayne Johnson.
Yep.
And he said Hobbs and Shaw is not a win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, here's some backstory to that. Basically, Tyrese makes money off of these movies.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's not Transformers, it's Fast and Furious. He doesn't have too many franchises that he's a part of.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is they were supposed to shoot Fast 9 after Fast 8. They stopped shooting Fast 9 to shoot Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
So that means Tyrese gets no money.
Gotcha.
So they had a public feud last year between Tyrese and The Rock, and Tyrese was just like trying to slam The Rock, and you can't slam The Rock.
It's going to be like the new Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan.
It kind of was, but the funny thing to that is Vin Diesel doesn't like The Rock.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
And we'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that, definitely. Fate of the Furious was very weird. And there's no scenes that have Vin Diesel and The Rock together.
Oh. Okay. Never really thought about it that way. All right, so what other geek news do we got?
Last on Geek News, American Crime Story Season 3 was announced. It will be the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
One more time?
American Crime Story, known for doing the OJ case, the murder of Johnny Versace.
Yeah.
And now it will be the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
Okay.
Executive produced by Monica Lewinsky. Oh, there you go. There you go. You're excited.
I did not have sexual relations with her.
You're excited.
I wasn't even born yet.
Oh. But yeah, it's basically going to be, and I'm excited for it. I like reliving this stuff. I like the O.J. Simpson case one. I didn't watch the Versace one, but I heard great things about it.
I got to catch up on it, I guess.
And
so it's a whole season just discussing that one event for each season, like a new event per season.
There's a new event each season, and it's like 8 episodes basically. So I recommended to your mother about the OJ one.
That's right, Steve.
And she loved the OJ one.
Yeah.
So
she was talking about it nonstop.
Yeah.
So
I don't think she watched the Gianni Versace one, but
I don't know. She doesn't give herself a lot of time to do things.
I got you. But yeah.
I guess we're going to move on to the movies, right?
Yeah, let's move on to the movies. So do you want to set up the first one, or?
Yeah, I mean, so
the ones that you did see.
Yeah, so I tried to dedicate as much time to this as I could.
I know.
It's just like it's a lot of time. After doing like the Tarantino one, I gave myself much more time, but then unexpected stuff came up this week, so I couldn't. Nigel gave me a specific order to watch it, which means I can chime in for certain movies.
Because I've seen all of these movies.
Yeah, but I remember me and Nigel were talking about how we wanted to go about this, and he says, "Hey, we can review all the Fast and the Furious movies," and I'm just like, ugh. And I went to I played Dungeons and Dragons, and I said to my group, I'm like, yo, I gotta watch all these Fast and the Furious movies. And they're like, oh no, why would you do that to yourself? I'm like, I do this for a podcast. I'm like, dude, it's like the Transformers movies. It's like the first one's all right, and they just devolve from there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to say that's not the case.
Okay.
So we'll get into it a bit more, but
because some of these you haven't seen before, which I want to know your take on some.
I also worked in a movie theater, so a lot of the hype from Fast and Furious movies wore down on me.
Okay.
So when I think about that, I think about like all the kids and parents coming in and just like buying popcorn and everything.
All right. So which ones did you see?
I saw 1, 2, 4, 5, and Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay, so I'll leave those to you. I'll do the ones that you didn't see.
All right, you got the timer ready?
I'll set it up.
We'll do. What do you want to do? 5 minutes for each one, or let's do 5. Want to do 3 minutes and give more time to Hobbs and Shaw?
Yeah, we'll do 3 minutes.
All right, chat. We're gonna do 3. We're gonna do. So this is our rapid fire segment. I'm gonna bring this back up in case any of you aren't familiar with it. For our rapid fire segment, we dedicated a lot of time to each movie that we are reviewing, so you can review more movies.
Exactly.
When the time ends, we end. That's it.
Yep.
The only thing we're allowed to do when the time ends is say, do we recommend it or not?
Okay.
And then move on to the next one. So we are doing 3 minutes on the clock for these.
Okay, 3 minutes?
Yep. And 1, 2, 3, go. All right, Fast and the Furious 1 coming out in 2001, starring Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, and
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule. Wasn't Ludacris in it? Or he was
in the second one.
Okay. Yeah, so this is basically about Paul Walker plays a guy named Brian O'Connor, who is undercover with the FBI trying to bring down the racing ring and basically a bunch of guys who are stealing stuff from giant cargo trucks and everything. Right. And this movie starts off the series in a completely different light. So it's basically it's a movie for car guys, you know.
Yes.
It's got a lot of shots of ass. It's got a lot of cars. It shows a lot of
engines.
A lot of engines. Talking about the mechanics of the cars. Talking about horsepower. A lot of the specs.
Yeah. And NOS.
Yeah, a lot of NOS. And it was a lot of just kind of conversational attitudes with that. And looking into the movie, I thought that you could tell that Paul Walker's very green.
Yes.
In this, I was just watching.
It's not his first movie, but it is like he's early.
You could tell he's acting.
Yeah.
That's like. But watching this movie, you could kind of tell. I thought that they built the relationships pretty organically. I thought this was a very interesting and fun movie to watch. Even though like the big climax wasn't anything too big when you get into the Fast franchise. Right. But looking deeper and deeper into this movie, because this and the second movie, the only movies you can do that to.
Right.
It seemed like a decent plot. It's basically a background for them to talk about cars and race and stuff like that. There were a lot of NOS, and my big issue with this is that there's a lot of scenes where you have Paul Walker racing other people. Yeah. And you're like, oh no, Paul Walker's about to lose. And it's like, wait, I got a NOS button. And he just presses the button. He wins the race.
No, he didn't though.
Only once.
He didn't win the race. He usually only one time he won the race, and that was toward the end.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is like it kind of removes the suspense out of things.
Well,
like if they relied more on the driving skill of the characters rather than having it just be like, hey, look, NO2 button, click.
Right. Well, I mean, it was early.
It
was early. Around this time, I saw this in the movie theater, and I'll make it short. I saw this in the movie theater. I thought it was very car heavy, plot not really there.
Yeah.
I felt like the characters were cool to watch, but I love seeing like a Del Sol with like hydraulics, and I love seeing like how they like set up everything. And the Nextel phone, this is before Nextels were really big.
Yeah, the walkie-talkie phones.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
They're used by the government.
This was right before the Nextels got really big, and it also I felt like the plot was similar to Point Break.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you ever saw that with Keanu Reeves and Nick Nolte. So it's very similar to Point Break. And
hey Moose, thanks for tuning in.
But I loved the first Fast and Furious.
I really enjoyed it. I was actually expecting this to be the only movie of the Fast franchise that I liked. Spoiler alert, it's not. I'm just looking at the time.
Yep.
Man, I had a thought on my mind. Overall, I recommend this movie. I think it's pretty cool.
Me too.
When I watched this, I kind of came for the characters and the sports, which is a backdrop. And cut.
Hey. We got that one done.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Jesus Christ. All right. We're doing Too Fast, Too Furious coming out in 2003.
1, 2, 3. Bam.
Go. All right, so this picks up where the last Fast and the Furious left off.
Directed by John Singleton.
Directed by John Singleton, and you can tell.
Yeah.
This is where the movies start going a little over the top. There's a scene where they drive a car onto a yacht over the water.
Yeah,
that was pretty.
That was toward the end. Yeah.
This is the point where you got to start having the suspension of disbelief. You know, or because like when you're watching this movie, it's pretty insane. You basically have Paul Walker and Tyrese. Who's Tyrese's character?
Tyrese is Roman Pierce.
Roman Pierce. So Paul Walker and Roman Pierce are working together, trying to help this. I guess he's like a drug lord.
They're trying to take down. Yes, he is a drug lord, and Eva Mendes is one of the people that's in there. She's an undercover agent.
Yeah.
That basically her team picks up Brian O'Connor and Roman Pierce and has them basically, try to infiltrate the gang by racing cars.
Yeah.
Like this drug dealer, I forgot his name, but he needs precision drivers.
Yeah.
And basically
he basically pits them against each other.
Right.
It's like best one is working for me.
Now the funny thing is, the reason why Tyrese is in it is because Vin Diesel did not want to come back to the series because he thought it was a big star.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do Triple X, and that's the reason why you have.
He also did Riddick around that time, right?
I think so. Probably a little after. But he didn't want to go back to the Fast and Furious franchise. So basically, that's why you have Tyrese in there. And I'll just imagine him being in that spot, like Vin Diesel being in that spot, which is kind of the plot for Fast and Furious 4.
Yeah, but they're also kind of relying on the fact that, like, hey, you let Vin Diesel get away.
Right.
Kind of thing. We have a 2-week rule, not a 2-decade rule, sorry.
Yeah.
But, no, so looking further into this movie, though, it was basically like one, but again, but a little bit more eccentric.
Right.
It had a lot of things from one that you would like otherwise. I thought there's one scene in it I told my friend to look up because it stuck with me for actually like 6 or 7 years. I forgot it was in this movie. There's a scene where you have this guy on his back with the rat.
Yep.
They put a rat on his stomach and they put a bucket on it and they heat the bucket, forcing the rat to eat its way through.
Yep.
I'm like, what kind of scene is this in a Fast and the Furious movie?
It was
about
crazy.
I remember because when I watched this movie seemed really familiar to me when I was watching it, and I saw this movie like
years ago,
2007.
Yeah, okay.
And it stuck with me for like 6 years. I'm like, I forgot this scene existed.
Yeah.
And looking back at it, I'm like, oh, so that's where it came from.
Yeah. Quick thing about this. This is more plot heavy and less cars. I didn't like the cars in this movie. The cars kind of sucked. The Mitsubishi line. Ludacris is in this movie also. He's introduced in this movie. His name is Tej. And he basically is a car enthusiast.
It's also important to realize that he's also not like a super bright guy outside of cars in early on.
Early on.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But we have 10 seconds left.
Early on. I do like this movie for the nostalgia. I think it's a better plot movie than the first one.
Yeah, I like this movie. I recommend watching it. The villain was okay. And okay, I'm done.
All right.
I wanted to finish up. So wait,
the villain's from Burn Notice.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I felt like he was he was just a bad guy. He didn't have much character to him.
He didn't have much character to him, which brings us to, we skipped over Tokyo Drift because we want to bring that in with Fast 6.
Yeah, because Tokyo Drift apparently takes place after Fast 6.
Yes.
So I'm going to still watch the rest of the movies. I'll give a brief rundown next week.
And I'll tell you why all that happened.
Well, chat, do you guys want me to give a rundown next week after I watch the rest of the movies? Let me know. Just before we go into the next thing, are you a car guy? Is that what drew you to these movies?
What drew me? To be honest with you, I had gotten a free pass when the movie came out.
The first one?
The first one, yes.
Okay.
I am sort of a car guy.
It's like a very 90s movie, the first one.
Well, it came out 2001, so it should seem very 90s because we're still like just coming out of the 90s. But that's what drove me. I got a free pass. I was working at Adventureland at the time, and I went to go see the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, this movie's pretty cool. And my friend had a Honda Del Sol. That's how I knew that it had a hydraulics. And from that, I like custom cars.
Yeah.
And I like muscle cars. I don't like.
So you are a bit of a car enthusiast.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Not really. Like, it has to be custom.
I used to be a somewhat car enthusiast back in the day. Like, not as much anymore.
When Exhibit was pimping rides?
Yeah, pretty much. I used to watch around there, and I used to try to do research on that stuff. Vinny, no, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about these movies or your opinion about them.
Oh, Jesus,
Okay,
Vinny.
thanks,
Okay.
Vinny. All right, we're going to Fast 4.
Fast 4. Jesus Christ. Let me...
All right, so Fast and the Furious. Are we started? Okay.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious 4. This movie is where the series starts going bonkers. So basically, what happens is they're making the movies. The first two movies are about cars, and the directors are just like, "Hey, wait a second. We can't make every movie strictly about cars. People are gonna get bored of this."
Well, I feel like this is the same plot as the second movie.
It is.
And I feel like if you just put Vin Diesel in it, it also takes place after Vin Diesel is on the at the end of Fast and Furious 1. Vin Diesel is let go.
Yeah.
Paul Walker lets Vin Diesel go, and Vin Diesel is now in the Dominican Republic. He has his own crew now with Tego Calderon and Don Omar, which I don't know why they're there. Han and Letty, who was played by what's the name? Michelle Rodriguez. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this movie just had a lot of Mission Impossible kind of vibes to it.
It did.
All right, so the first scene sets basically the frame of what the future Fast and Furious movies are going to be. For those of you who haven't seen it, you have Vin Diesel who's trying to break I think a train car off of a train.
No, you're in the wrong thing. I'll finish this one.
No, the cargo bit off.
No,
that's
the truck, right? That's the fifth one.
That's the fifth one.
I'll finish this one.
No, I'm pretty sure it's in the beginning, and then because you have the truck driver with the gun.
They tried to take off gas. They were trying to steal gas.
Yeah, they're trying to break off the back bit of a truck. Yeah, and then you have Vin Diesel just ramming to the side.
Right.
Then it starts rolling over, and then you have Vin Diesel all the way at the back of like this curve on a mountain. And then he just drives under the rolling thing.
Right.
And it just flips and explodes, and it's like this isn't.
This is kind of what they were doing in Fast and Furious 1, where they were trying to steal like stuff from trucks.
Yeah, but this is going really over the top. And one thing just to mention is like the name of the movie. It was impossible to find. So you have the Fast and the Furious. Yeah. Then you have Too Fast, Too Furious. Then you have Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
And this one's just called Fast and Furious.
This is called Fast Furious.
Ampersand Furious.
Yeah.
What are these names?
There's also Furious 7, Fast 6, Fast 5.
Is this like a soft reboot?
That's what it kind of was, actually.
That's what it
was
felt
a
like.
Soft reboot because this is after Tokyo Drift. So what happens is, and we'll probably go a little longer with this one. So what happens is after Tokyo Drift, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel wanted to do the movie again because they're both not in the movie.
Yeah,
they're not in Tokyo Drift except for Vin Diesel. He's like at the end. But what ends up happening is,
hey Austin, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Letty dies in this one. Paul Walker has his job back, and Paul Walker feels responsible for Letty's death. So he's trying to take down Braga, who is the person that he thinks killed Letty.
Okay.
Vin Diesel comes back to L.A. He's a fugitive. He comes back to L.A. to find out who killed Letty.
Okay.
And ironically, the two of them are found in the same place at the same time. Braga needs some new drivers, and these are the precision drivers that think that they can infiltrate his gang and try to take down Braga.
Okay.
So I think that's the whole thing on that. Did you like it?
We're at 3 minutes. I liked it.
I liked it.
It's kind of forgettable, but I enjoyed it.
I liked it for the fact that the gang seemed like they were back together, and it was a soft reboot. It was better than Too Fast, Too Furious for me.
Yeah.
It was also better than Tokyo Drift.
So, all right, now we're approaching where the series is starting to need for you to turn off your brain, because. All right, the Fast and the Furious movies. If you told me like a few years ago, it's like, dude, you got to watch the Fast and the Furious movies. I'd say no, I actually like good movies.
Right.
But if you go into this saying, wow, this is absolutely insane, every time they use NOS, they do like a shot where they go inside the car and just show NOS going through, or they like, or just insane explosions, insane plot, just wacky shit going on everywhere. And if you just watch it and you're like, I want a nonsensical action movie that I can just have fun with, that's what these movies are.
That's what these movies are.
Because when someone told me, when I mentioned in the beginning that it would be like Transformers, Transformers are nonsensical action movies we could have fun with, because shaky cam every 5 seconds.
Okay.
But this movie, it's like, it is like that. It's like a 90s movie, but in the modern era with modern technologies.
Exactly. And I really liked Fast 5.
All right, so I'll let you take on with Fast 5.
You want me to? No, because I got to do all the rest of the ones that you didn't
I'll
see.
let you give the plot, and then we'll go back and forth.
All right, cool. All right, so basically Fast 5 takes place in Brazil. Basically, Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel's sister, Jordana Brewster, they're all on the run. Everybody is basically a fugitive, and they're now being chased by The Rock. Yeah, The Rock is trying to chase them in Brazil.
And this is where The Rock is introduced to the series, and he's a bit of an asshole.
He is a bit of an asshole, but it's basically the gang is all back together, and they're all running away from the law. As they're running away from the law, they're doing their little odd jobs to make money in the favelas in Brazil, and they run into a gangster. They kind of like, I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah.
But they basically run afoul with him, and they're like, you know what, fine, you know what we're gonna do, since you tried to kill us, we're gonna try and take all your money.
Yeah, and also with this fucking movie, the dialogue, man.
Yeah.
Like, this movie has a lot of corny dialogue, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, because look, when you're, like I said, when you turn off your brain and you go into this and you're like, wow, this is just a stupid fun movie.
Right.
And that's what this is.
Yeah.
The dialogue is so corny delivery, corny execution.
And they brought everybody together. This is the first movie that, like,
and this is where Ja Rule starts like becoming a massive brainiac.
No, Ja Rule's not in this movie.
He's not in this one? No, not Ja Rule, I'm sorry, Ludacris.
Ludacris, yes.
Yeah. And he's like helping with like espionage and stuff like that.
Hey, listen, he had a life before Cars.
This is insane, man. And then the girl, I think her name is Mia, the character from the first movie.
Mia,
his sister of
his sister is Mia, yes.
Yeah. And now in this, I didn't even recognize it was her.
Yeah, Jordana Brewster.
Yeah,
but she's in Fast and Furious.
I know, but just like looking at, because I couldn't tell it was her. And then in this movie, when I was watching, I'm like, oh, that is her.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them back to back. Like, what's really cool about watching these movies straight through is you see how they evolve and they be complete mayhem, you know?
Right.
And just like with this movie, it has it probably has, I think it's the best one of the series.
I think it's the best one of the series. You
Yeah.
haven't seen the other ones.
I haven't.
But
I'll get back to you guys next week.
It goes just as bonkers as and like, I'm gonna tell you everything that happens in the next one. So if you want to watch it, watch it.
I'll still watch it.
But it goes bonkers after this one. But this is the first one where everybody's together. It turns from a car movie to a heist movie.
Yes, and that's what I love about it.
And I like that they finally changed it, because I was tired of the race that we have to have in the movie.
That's why I like Jackie Brown so much. This is a heist movie. I feel like heist movies are so much fun.
This becoming a heist movie made it better, made it watchable. My mother even likes this movie.
I mean, they're stealthily trying to steal a vault, and then there's like fucking
let's just drive it through. Yeah, and they really like destroyed all of those buildings.
Yeah,
like, that happened.
And they have just the vault crashing into cars on the road, and it's insanity.
So basically, what ends up happening is that
2, 1.
Oh, I guess we'll leave it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll come back to it.
We have to come back to it.
Okay.
It's the 3-minute rule.
Okay, got you.
I liked it. You liked it?
I love it.
All right.
I will do Fast 6.
Okay.
You did not see Fast 6.
No, but I'll come for the ride.
So at the end of Fast 5, what happens is we find out that Letty is still alive.
Yeah.
So now
I'm saying yes as in I pretended I was.
It's okay. It's okay. So now in Fast 6, the gang is still on the run from Hobbs, who is The Rock, and basically they're all in. I don't think they're in Dominican. They're in the Dominican Republic again, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're all hiding out. And what ends up happening is that Hobbs finds them and he says, "Hey, listen, I need your help on something. We're trying to take down this guy. His last name is Shaw. I forget his first name, but
Deckard.
No, Deckard Shaw is the other one.
Oh, that's
his
right.
brother. I forget what his brother's name is. This is okay. But he's trying to take down Shaw. Shaw has a gang that is similar to Vin Diesel's gang.
Yeah.
So they all have, like, they're all counterparts. Like, there's the big guy. There's the one that looks like Tyrese. There's the one that looks like Michelle Rodriguez. And they're all like kind of the same people. So they're like, I need your help to take these guys down. They also have Michelle Rodriguez, who is Letty. Letty, all this time, has had amnesia.
Yes, right.
She has had amnesia, and she does not know what's going on, who she is. She just knows that she's a part of Shaw's gang. And Vin Diesel is trying to get her to come back home, and they're also trying to take down Shaw.
Yeah.
That's the bulk of the movie. There are great scenes in this movie. Gal Gadot is great in this movie. It's just not the best movie, especially after like that apex that we had from Fast 5. Fast 6 is okay as a sequel, but it's not great. We also lose Gal Gadot in this movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like, I feel like Fast 5 is also the turning point. Well, Fast 4 technically, but Fast 5 was a turning point for the series.
Right.
So now you're at like Fast 6, where it's just like, if you enjoy the insanity, I feel like you would go along with it perfectly fine.
Right.
Because just like, this movie isn't about cars anymore. All they have that about cars is that there's nice cars with NOS.
Right.
That's it.
And you know what? I do like the fight scenes in this movie more than anything. Like Michelle Rodriguez has a great fight scene in this movie. Tyrese actually has a great fight scene in this movie. Him and Han. They have a fight scene with this guy that I don't remember his name, but he's very good. And
Amnesia. That's right.
Yeah.
Amnesia's like amnesia, but I don't know.
Oh, got you. Yeah. So basically, it's an okay movie. It starts going bonkers more and more and more. Toward the end of this movie, they take down Shaw, and they find out that I guess Dominic Toretto gets a call from Deckard Shaw.
Oh.
And he's like, Dominic Toretto. And he calls him up and says, yeah, I'm coming after you. As this happens, they're basically showing a scene from Tokyo Drift where Han dies. And Shaw blows up his car.
Yeah.
So that's where we get into Tokyo Drift.
So now we're going into 3 minutes.
Yep.
So you liked it?
So yep, you ready?
You liked it?
I liked it. It was okay. It's not the best, but it is all right as a sequel.
All right. So let's give. Do you want to give preface to this before we start or after?
I guess before. Basically,
we can just start and we just all fit in 3 minutes.
It's not that long. None of the characters from any of the Fast and Furious movies are in this movie.
Except Vin Diesel.
Except Vin Diesel toward the end. He's
like
at the end. Basically, you have, and I forgot the guy's name. I think it's, and I did take a screenshot of his name.
The thing is, this movie, contextually, when it came out, because you were with these movies as they were coming out, right?
Yeah.
So when this movie came out, what was like the reception to it?
They were mad that no Paul Walker, no Vin Diesel.
But if they judging it as the movie itself,
well, I wasn't a teenager at the time. I did teach high school.
Yeah.
The kids in my high school class loved this movie.
Okay.
So they were like, they liked it because Bow Wow was in it. Lucas Black, who was in Friday Night Lights, the movie, and he's also in I forget the other movie he's in, but basically he plays Sean Boswell. He's basically a teenager who becomes a major competitor in the world of drift racing after moving to Tokyo with his father to avoid a jail sentence in America. And that's basically the whole story. He meets Han, who basically is into racing and drifting and racing cars, and like the whole premise is basically this new guy, out of place, fish out of water, wants to start racing cars, and he's what they call Gai Chen, which is basically outsider.
Okay.
And there is a Yakuza type gang that's in there.
I also heard this movie is for taking place in Tokyo. There's quite not enough Japanese people in it.
There's not enough.
It's mostly white, right?
Even the main girl, not mostly white, but even the main girl isn't Japanese. She's Asian, but she's not Japanese.
Was it filmed in Japan?
I believe it was.
Okay. Yeah,
I believe it was. It has that. But basically, yeah, that's the bulk of the movie is basically Han dies in the middle of this movie, and it's like Rocky for cars. Like that's basically what it is. Like this guy, Sean Boswell, he basically becomes the Drift King after all of this stuff happens. It's not the best Fast and Furious movie. It's not the worst, but you do get a cameo from Vin Diesel at the end.
Did you like it?
It's okay. It's not great. Like if you're gonna call it Fast and Furious, it's not great. If you call it something else, it's decent. You know what I mean?
So if you don't judge it as like a member
if you don't judge it as the franchise, because what happened was they disregarded this movie for so long. So when I told you to skip 3, it's because Han is in 4, 5, 6. So you're like,
so having him die in a previous movie wouldn't make sense.
Exactly. That's why I told you to watch it. That's why I said watch it because 7 is where it all connects.
Yeah.
7 is where like they have a funeral for Han and everything, and they're going after the guy that killed Han. So,
is there anything in the movies really illustrating when that?
There's nothing.
So the fans just figured it out.
They just basically in Fast 6 is where Deckard Shaw shows up toward the end of the movie. It's like an end credit, and he's like, "Hey, Dominic Toretto," and then he blows up Han's car.
Jesus. All right. Well,
there's a specific scene, and when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so that connected them.
Yeah, that
All
connected.
Right, so we're done with Fast 3.
We're done with Tokyo Drift.
So now we're on Fast 7.
Fast 7.
It's been 3 minutes.
Let's go.
All right.
I hate this movie. I do not like this movie. This is the movie that Paul Walker shot. Paul Walker shot half of this movie, right? So basically,
this is the movie where he died, right?
This is the one where he died.
I thought he died in Fast 8.
No.
In Fast 8, he was all CG, right?
He wasn't in Fast 8 at all.
I thought he was CG in Fast 8.
CG in Fast 7.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. So he was CG, and you can tell when he was CG. You could tell when it wasn't him. And that was my problem with this movie is because, like, you could tell it wasn't him. You can tell, like, the plot went bonkers. It was supposed to be them trying to take down Deckard Shaw. The whole movie, them trying to take down Deckard Shaw. Deckard Shaw basically is trying to get, he's out for revenge for his brother being hospitalized. So he basically puts The Rock in hospital. He goes after the crew, Dominic Toretto's crew, because he doesn't like them. He kills Han, and everywhere they go, Deckard Shaw is trying to kill them. However, he's not the main villain in the movie. Exactly. This is where they bring in Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is
Kurt Russell going ham, also known as Keith Richards on the show.
Yeah. So Kurt Russell is like he's higher than the CIA. He's basically a different branch of the government than Hobbs is, and he basically is trying to find what's called God's eye. It's basically a way to see where everyone is in the world at any second. And there's also another villain in here who is like not as great as Deckard Shaw, which it was like this movie had a villain problem. That was one thing. Another problem, they were introducing new characters such as Kurt Russell and Ramsey. I forgot her name, but she's in Game of Thrones. So like it's just a lot of stuff jammed into one movie, and the fact that Paul Walker's not in it, it just hurts. Like it really hurts. Like you're like, damn, he died, and I really wish I got more Paul Walker in this movie.
See, I don't know. I guess I don't have that perspective because I never felt an attachment to Paul Walker. And like actually, that song that was in the part where he was like driving off.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, like that was that song got super popular strictly because
super popular because of it. Every time I hear it, I think about Fast and Furious.
Jesus. All right.
What I was gonna say is, I totally forgot. Oh yeah, Tony Jaa was in this, the Protector. I don't know if you know his movie On Bach, Protector. Basically, I was excited that he was gonna be in this movie. They totally underutilized him.
Really?
They totally because all his fight scenes were with Paul Walker, and Paul Walker was all CG. So you can't really have a great fight scene with him if everything is CG.
Jeez.
So.
Yeah, that's true. It makes sense.
That was Fury 7. I got my gripes about it. If you like the series, watch it. You don't have to. Click.
Next that's 3 minutes. Next week I want to try and dedicate like the first just 5-10 minutes. Just say
if you
quickly,
want to, yeah.
Just quick because I feel bad for you guys because you tuned in for a rapid fire and I didn't have time and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But I'm going to try and give a quick wrap up next week on what I thought of all of them. So tune in next week. We're also reviewing what we're doing: Dora the Explorer, Stories to Tell Yourself in the Dark,
and there's one more,
and some other. I forgot the other movie. We're seeing 3 movies though.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, isn't it? What was that one? Ready or Not? Is that coming out next week?
Ready or Not? I don't think so.
They're in 2 weeks. They're probably in 2 weeks.
That's in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right. We'll let you know, but definitely Dora the Explorer and stories you can tell in the dark.
All right. Fate of the Furious.
You ready?
Crank it.
All right. Fate of the Furious. So basically,
I hated working this launch.
Did you watch this one or no?
No, but I worked the release of it. I think I might have seen it, but I just don't remember any.
All right. It starts off in Cuba.
No, I probably didn't.
No? Okay, this is basically their starts off in Cuba. Charlize Theron is in this movie as well. We're introducing a whole bunch of different characters. Basically what happens is this is the movie where Dominic Toretto, aka Vin Diesel, turns on his crew.
Jeez.
Basically, he actually becomes the villain of this movie, whereas Charlize Theron has something on him, and basically his Dominic Toretto's crew, everybody, the whole crew is trying to help their friend, trying to get him out of whatever he's in, and they don't know why he's doing this. They don't know what's going on. They just know that Vin Diesel's going crazy. He's shooting up stuff. He's stealing stuff, and they want to know why. Basically, what you come to find out is Charlize Theron works for this place called Cypher.
Okay.
And it's like a whole network of like bad people. And what ends up happening is that they have his ex-girlfriend, who they find out is pregnant with his baby.
Jesus.
Right.
These movies, see what I'm saying? These movies are bonkers.
So basically, well, she's not pregnant anymore. She had the baby. But you remember the female cop that was in Fast Five?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the girl?
That's the girl.
Okay.
So he had gotten her pregnant. She has a baby. He didn't know. but he finds out in this movie. So now to keep her safe, he has to turn on his crew.
This is so insane.
Told you.
I love it.
I told you.
I love it.
And this is the movie where behind the scenes, Vin Diesel and The Rock did not get along.
Yeah, you said that they weren't in any scenes together.
They're not in that many scenes together. Honestly, they're not, because what ends up happening is that behind the scenes, The Rock is calling Vin Diesel prima donna.
Yeah.
And Vin Diesel's like, yo, this guy doesn't come to set until a certain time. And they're just like, it's just like bickering like little schoolgirls. So basically, they're not in any scenes together. It's more Kurt Russell, and now they put in another guy who kind of is the new Brian O'Connor. He kind of is the new Paul Walker, if you wanted to say that. Jesus.
Well, I am looking forward to Fast 9, see what's gonna go there.
But you know what is funny toward the end of this movie is that they call they're asking like what to call his baby.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're gonna call him Brian.
That's like in The Dark Knight Rises, where they were like, what's your name, cop? And he's like, my name's Robin. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So
right.
that was basically yeah. Nah.
No.
Also, I totally forgot, and this is the setup for Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
So in this movie, The Rock goes to jail.
Yeah.
The Rock is set up. He goes to jail. In jail, he sees Deckard Shaw. And basically, what ends up happening is that Kurt Russell stages a jailbreak and gets Deckard Shaw and Vin Diesel and Hobbs to all work together.
Yeah.
And that's why you have this whole Hobbs and Shaw movie, because now Deckard Shaw, who just killed Han in the seventh movie, is now in Fast 8 as an ally.
Okay.
And now he has to work with Hobbs to do this whole freaking spin-off movie.
Cool, we got time to review it.
Yeah. You ready?
Well, we don't need to time it because this one's the final review.
Yeah, let's do it. So you got this one.
So going into this movie, first of all, when I went to go see this movie, I didn't have much of the backdrop to it because I really wanted to make sure I had time to see this movie. So I saw it before I saw Fast 5.
Okay.
And I didn't see Fast 6 where he was introduced. Right. So I'm kind of going to this as another movie.
Blind. Right.
But I could tell it's the wacky Fast and the Furious that I was ready for. But going first of all, I went to this movie. I figured, it's like one of those fun movies. I brought in a couple beers. I threw back a couple beers.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot that. So what alcohol does is it accentuates basically who you are.
Okay.
And I'm a very analytical person, so it made it even worse.
Wow.
So I watched this movie with a very keen eye. I probably laughed at this movie maybe 4 or 5 times overall.
Oh. Laughed at somebody saying something funny, or
saying something funny.
Okay.
But in general, laughter.
Right.
And like when I'm sitting and watching this movie, you see that they're really trying to show that they're trying to show Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson have really strong chemistry with each other. And I'm just like, I wasn't feeling it. I felt like they were reciting lines. I felt like they weren't. What they should have been doing is they should have been ad-libbing insults to each other.
They had the oldest comeback lines I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but
they were all dick jokes.
The Rock is from 1994. Let's just put this out there, right? When he was in his 20s, it was 1994. So now he's an old dad, and he's giving old dad jokes in this movie.
Yeah.
Continue.
And his name Michael Coxmall.
Yeah.
So that's the joke that they gave him when he was going through security or whatever.
That was funny, though.
It was funny, but it's just like when you saw Spy, right?
No.
Spy is with Melissa McCarthy and Jason Statham. Melissa McCarthy is basically a spy throughout the movie, and she's
I remember the plot.
Jason Statham in the movie was so funny, like genuinely funny,
right?
Because like he was self-aware of the kind of actor he was from the Transporter and everything like that, and he knew that like the over-the-top style. He's like, I once jumped from this jet right here into this boat, and then I took the boat and rode it off this cliff. And it's like, it was insane. And I expected that for him in this movie, and I didn't get that.
Well, that's what's happening in these Fast and Furious movies. I felt like the last time you really heard humor in all these movies was Fast 5. Fast 5 had the better humor out of all the movies that you've seen.
But it's like this movie, I expected to turn off my brain, have it like another dumb, fun movie like the other Fast and the Furious movies. Because like I said, I went into these movies not expecting to have like as a good time. I expected to be like, oh, Fast and the Furious. But I was texting you about that. I'm like, but I'll go in with an open mind. And they're fun. They're fun fucking movies. Yeah. So you gotta turn off your brain. Yeah. But like with this movie, the chemistry, you could tell they had chemistry, but the writing for the chemistry wasn't great.
The writing wasn't great for it.
There is one cameo that really made me laugh, and should we say who the cameo was?
Do you want to?
What do you think?
I think the cameos were the best thing about the movie.
Yeah, so we'll leave it.
Yeah, okay.
One of the people for the cameo, I think that's the scene that really made me laugh.
Okay.
Is because this guy was genuinely funny, and he really kind of made me crack up when he came on the screen. And there was also 3 post-credits scenes.
I didn't see the third one.
There's 2 mid-credits and then one at the very end.
I didn't see the one in the middle. We got to talk afterwards.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards about it. But like I remember at this movie, this movie's about 2 hours long.
Yeah.
At the hour and a half point, I'm like, could you please just end this movie? I was because first of all, I was sitting next to 2 guys who were the loud. Right. They were louder than those guys in the Tarantino movie theater.
Oh god, what were they saying? All right, rock.
I don't know. They were speaking in Spanish.
Oh, hey, me gusta.
And they're just sitting there, and they're like, you know, if you're talking to a friend, you're like, you move in a little bit, and you talk kind of quietly. These guys are just sitting there, it's like, hey, it's like that throughout the entire movie. Only guys in theater talking. For some fucking reason, I'm always cursed sitting next to the most talking.
I don't know why, man.
I don't know why this happened.
It was very quiet in my movie theater.
I wish we could swap positions.
It was very quiet. Nobody was saying anything.
You gotta be my lucky star on going to these movies, man. Because like,
I wasn't going in a crowded movie to go see this movie. I wasn't.
Neither did I. I went on a Tuesday night at 11:15.
Oh.
Who the fuck goes to movies at 11:15 at night? Me. Yes, on Tuesdays. So why is it was filled?
Because it's $5 Tuesday.
Oh shit.
That's why I don't go on Tuesdays.
All right, I'm gonna start going Wednesday mornings like you. But overall, I gotta watch the movie again, to be quite honest, because I feel like a lot of what was going on kind of went over my head from not seeing the other movies.
I don't think it went over your head. I
understood what was going on. I mean, like, keep in mind, the plot is as ridiculous as anything else.
It is.
You basically have Deckard Shaw and Hobbs. What's his first name?
Yeah, Hobbs is Rebecca. Luke Rebecca Hobbs.
All right. Well, so Hobbs and Shaw, they hate each other.
Right.
They're told that they work on an assignment together with the CIA, and then you see that they're basically they have to go stop the spreading of this virus, and the virus is called the snowflake, I think.
Yeah.
And what it does is it's like a purge, and it melts your insides.
Basically, that was the weakest part of the movie.
But the thing is like, first the plot sets the stage for a wacky movie, you know?
Right.
But the way I described this movie when I was walking out of the theater, my friend who I saw it with said he liked it.
Okay.
But the way I described this movie is I'm just like, it reminds me of a Mission Impossible movie, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a movie you kind of enjoy in the moment, but afterwards you're probably going to forget it exists.
Yeah.
You know?
It's one of those things where like I felt like the last scene where they had to go back to Samoa.
Yeah.
I felt like that was sandwiched in. I felt like
exactly, because like at the point, so there's a scene like towards the end where they kind of like try to accomplish this goal and they don't.
Right.
And I'm just like, that's the point where I was like, please just end. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, end this movie now, please.
I think The Rock just wanted, like, he just wanted to have that. Like, he just wanted to have, like, a Polynesian, like, ending.
But that was a fun ending. Idris Elba
What's the little girl what's that movie that he was in? The cartoon?
The cartoon or, like, the Disney movie?
The Disney movie.
It was Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy and Game Plan.
No, dude. There's a movie where
he was in the Game Plan and he was also in Tooth Fairy.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. I'll find it. You keep talking.
No, but you can Moana. Oh, the animated movie. Okay. Yeah, but just sitting through. Steve, what is he saying? Moana. He answered it.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, no, but
He tried to tell me the Tooth Fairy, Steve. Can you believe this?
Idris Elba. Well, you said Little Girl, and then you said The Rock, and that's what came into my mind. Those two movies.
Nah, man, I said a cartoon.
Yeah, but then I'm just thinking like cartoon. It was because the Moana isn't a cartoon. It's animated, whatever.
Yeah.
But Idris Elba killed it.
Okay, yeah.
He knew exactly the kind of character that he was.
Right.
And Idris Elba is the kind of guy where like you've seen bad movies with Idris Elba in it, but he's not the bad part of that movie.
Right.
And that's what I find really interesting about him. Is like he's a really good actor, and he was really playing on that.
Right.
And he was such a fun antagonist for this movie.
I really wanted I wanted a better ending than what happened.
See, the thing is, it's not even the ending that bothered me or whatever, because I kind of expected just kind of what happened to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm sitting through this movie and it's not doing anything for me. I'm barely laughing.
Right.
I'm just having the noisiest guys ever next to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I'm really struggling to follow what's going on because like there really isn't much plot. It's more just a lot. They dedicate like 20 minutes of just back and forth between. Like,
I know. I think they kept sandwiching that in, and like those jokes weren't landing. And then what really made me mad was toward the end they found out that they actually had to work together.
Yeah.
To defeat the villain, which isn't a spoiler. Obviously, if these people don't like each other, they have to work.
Well, if you saw we're just talking about the trailer.
Yeah, that's the trailer.
Trailers, yeah.
Yeah. So
I just think that if they do another one of these movies, there's so much potential in it.
They will.
Because just like between them two, because Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham have chemistry in real life.
Right.
You can tell that they get along behind the scenes and everything, or else they couldn't do that back and forth. But for fuck's sake, just tell them, hey, this is the goal for this scene. Have fun with your way through it,
Now, this is a little spoilery, but I won't say who this person is.
Yeah.
But I will say that there is a rumor that one of the cameos is controlling Idris Elba.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
The first cameo or second cameo?
The first cameo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. A lot of people think that's what happened because that person said that they knew each other. Mm-hmm. And you'd never guess. I'm like, obviously, like, we don't know that much about The Rock's character. We don't know much about his backstory. Mm-hmm. And this movie gets into a lot of his backstory that we didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I don't know the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I think this is going to be the villain in the next movie.
I hope so, because if that's the villain in the next movie,
that was the saving grace. Like, to be honest with you, that's what made this movie a little bit better than average. Were those cameos?
Yeah.
I think I like the second cameo more when I don't know he's in the movie.
I didn't know either were in the movie.
I didn't know, but like I was actually welcoming him.
Yeah.
Because I knew he wasn't like, if he was on the bill, I'd have been like, I don't want to see this movie.
Yeah.
It's just like the other movies that they were in.
Yeah.
But when I saw the second cameo, I was like, okay, I like this guy. Today.
Yeah. Well, overall, I guess what I'm going to say about this movie is it was enjoyable. I want to try and watch it again after I see these Fast and Furious movies. I might have a different appreciation for it,
maybe.
But like, I don't really have a desire to go out and see it right away.
I don't blame you.
Like, I was actually almost at a point where I was almost like forced into seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a third time. I saw that movie. It's a fun movie, but like seeing it the third time. And did we talk about that in Geek News?
About the extended?
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is getting picked up. It's supposedly getting picked up by Netflix for an extended cut, like what they did for.
I heard the original. I heard the original extended cut is like 4 hours long.
Yeah, like the original Hateful Eight, where they chopped up the Roadshow edition.
I mean, I would like it better if his episodes, because I really like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I really like him in the movie. I like him and his dynamic with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
The Sharon Tate thing totally didn't connect. It totally didn't gel together, which means either it was left on the cutting room floor, or like it just wasn't cut the way like either Tarantino liked or whoever liked.
Apparently there were some like allegedly award-winning scenes that were cut from the movie.
Well, then why would you cut them if they're award-winning? Put those in.
Yeah,
take the other fluff out.
All right, well, whatever. Hobbs and Shaw. If you want just kind of a wacky, insane, like 90s style action flick, I recommend watching it. It's not a movie to watch in theaters, though. It's a movie to watch where you're chilling on the couch with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
You have a few beers, and you're just kind of having fun with it, making fun of the movie. Like, 'cause that's what it's meant for.
This is the 2019 Tango and Cash. I know you never saw that movie, but Kurt Russell's in it.
Okay. AKA Keith Richards.
It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same concept. It's Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone, and they're basically two cops that basically got framed for murder, and now they have to clear their name.
Yeah, like this movie was a recipe for success. Yeah. It's just that what wasn't working for it was the writing, because if you're trying to do a witty comedy, you can't have bad writing. Like it works for the Fast and Furious movies, but it doesn't work for this.
And Tyrese had put the whammy on this movie.
Yeah, and then but then also the other thing is that the length. Those are my two complaints.
Yeah,
get better writing for a sequel. Fix the length so it's more enjoyable. Yeah, instead of it being forced for an extra act. Yeah, then I will give it a full recommendation. And until then. Sorry, I don't recommend seeing it.
All right,
unless you're just drunken on the couch. So in this next segment, what are you watching? Want me to go first for that?
Sure, go for it.
I saw The Kids, The Boys.
The Boys
on Amazon Prime.
I'm like The Kids.
Yeah, The Boys. The Boys. Just quickly, it's a Amazon Prime original series based on the comic book.
Okay.
Where basically they're these guys are in a world where superheroes are, picture the Justice League. They become monetized and their commercial successes with brand deals and everything. And they exist because of being brand deals. Okay. And they are assholes behind the scenes. And one of them killed this guy's girlfriend. So now this guy is just hell-bent on bringing him to light because he was slapped with an NDA saying, hey, you can't talk about this, we'll give you $40,000. And the guy's like, what the fuck is this? So now him and a bunch of other people affected by these heroes are going to try and take them down. Okay. And it's just such an interesting show because I like this new dynamic. It kind of is like what Brightburn was, where it's what if Superman was an asshole and he was murderous and whatever. That's kind of what they did for this, but with all the heroes. You have the first episode, one of the first scenes where you actually meet the superheroes sets the stage for the entire show. So if you like what you see in the first episode, you're going to want to watch the rest of it. Right, cool. With that, I'll leave it to you. You can find me on Facebook as Steve May. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Drakentoss_. And you can find my band Elisions on Facebook and Elisions Band on Instagram. All right. Off to you, Nigel.
Cool. I'll keep it short and sweet. Yeah, I watched 90 Day Fiancé. Yeah, there was a marathon going on, and holy hell, seriously, this movie, these people are crazy. Seriously, I've never really watched the show, sat down and watched it. Yeah, people are crazy. People are lonely, and when they get lonely, they get desperate, and they go out to different countries to find people that don't really like them. They just want a green card. So yeah, that's what I watched. It was pretty entertaining. I'll probably watch some more. I'll give you more of my updates on 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Nigel Fullerton. You can find me on Instagram at @NigelFullerton_, on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook, Nigel A. Fullerton. That's my actor page. I'm performing August 24th. Yes, August 24th at Governor's Comedy Club.
I'll be there too.
Yeah, you can go to www.govs.com, buy the tickets in advance. Please, 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 please. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Vinny, for all your comments. God bless you, and good night.
Good night.